All right. So, welcome everybody. I think this is the 4th or maybe 5th episode of Double D Friday. That is Daily Download Friday, aka Double D. This is probably going to be an interesting episode. I haven't really quite been feeling myself today. I'm really tired. I had a really early morning yesterday, and I think that just threw me off completely. When I get off of routine, my body crashes. And I actually noticed, I didn't notice before I made lunch, but usually when I procrastinate and I eat, and so I'm making lunch, and I ate my lunch. I had buffalo cauliflower and sweet potato fries, but I really didn't want to eat. I wanted to rest, but I didn't feel like I could rest because I have so much work to do. I'm leaving on Monday for Australia. Heads up to anybody who's in Australia, mostly Melbourne. I'm going to be there from until the 29th. And so I don't know, I really just should have taken a nap, but I ate instead because I just didn't feel like I deserved the rest. And I really didn't even know that was all happening until I am sitting in front of the camera right now. So, TIFF therapy session, aka Daily Download Friday. So, Daily Download Friday is a segment where I basically read off some realizations from my phone from the week. When I do have a realization, I type it in my phone and I leave it there until Double D Friday. And this is the first time that I read them. I do one episode every week. I have a lot of realizations that come. Sometimes I don't understand what they actually mean, and I'm sitting here on this podcast trying to explain it to you or trying to explain where my head was at. And then kind of sometimes we have a breakthrough. Last week was a little rough. I was doing some Oprah quotes, but I'm also just kind of tired. So yeah, my brain doesn't work. I'm also kind of struggling with when my brain's not working because I did something out of my routine. Should I just call it a day, or do I need to push through? And for that, I don't know, because my habit wants me to push through, but it's not like the highest quality work. And it kind of scares me because, and by scared, I mean it's kind of alarming to be so dedicated to my routine and to sleep that I can't function if I don't have it. It sounds sort of like an addiction, right? But then I also know that it's good for me and it feels good. So I did a segment maybe a couple of weeks ago where I talked about trading in our old addictions for ones that make us feel beautiful. And sleep makes me feel beautiful, but so does going to daybreak and being able to dance all day, So I'm currently trying to find that happy medium place where I can do both things that make me feel beautiful while still being able to function at work. So stay tuned. I'm sure I'll have some realizations about that at some point. I don't know when. But here we go with realization number 1. This has to do with people telling you how to behave and how to act while never noticing their own behavior. So have you ever heard somebody say to you, that affects people, or the way you act affects people, and they are the exact person who never apologizes for their own actions and for how they hurt you. And they're the type of person who never acknowledges, never second guesses themselves in their own actions. And here they are just telling you how you affect people. I never understood this. I've never understood this mentality. And my normal reaction to things is to get upset and angry. But I think it obviously goes a little bit deeper than that. And also, are you one of these people? Do you never think that you're wrong, or you have a hard time saying that you're sorry, or have a hard time when somebody says that you've hurt them? Do you deny their feelings? Are you because this is actually something I used to do. And so I've been in all of these positions. I haven't been in a position, I'm sorry, let me clarify. at some point in my life, it was really difficult for me to say I'm sorry and that I was wrong and that I messed up. But never have I ever been in the position where I don't acknowledge when I hurt somebody or affect somebody, and also tell the other person, while I'm not acknowledging that I've hurt them, telling the other person that they need to watch their behavior because they affect people. Like, I can't understand that. But maybe, at some point I have been like that and I'm just not acknowledging it, or I really don't know. But because something affects you probably means that it's a part of you that you're either denying or don't want to look at, or you do and you don't admit it. Or it's something that you don't do, but you want to do. Sometimes when we get upset about things, it's because, or if something is like repulsive to us, it's because that is part of our shadow. That's part of our self. That is like the dark side. But it's part of, and it's coming out in someone else. And the only reason you can acknowledge something in somebody else is it's because it's in you. It's kind of like drugs. Drugs affect us because those things already exist inside of us. They just enhance it. Drugs enhance whatever it is that's inside of us already. So, and by enhance, I mean like drugs produce more of the thing that's already inside of us, and that therefore we get different effects. So this is kind of what I mean by that. So if something's bothering you, then it's probably because a part of you is acknowledging the existence outside of you that's inside of you. The dark side. Some people call it the shadow self. Part of your shadow self, part of yourself that you've denied, part of yourself that you don't accept. So that's the reasoning for that. Moving on to number 2. Okay, this must have to do with my addiction to True Blood. It says, I just started realizing characters in movies, on TV, and films rarely experience self-criticism in the ways we do as humans internally. They don't have guilt or shame, and when they do, they say it, and that automatically alleviates the feelings. Oh, got it. I have realized that characters are perfect versions of themselves, without judgment of who they are. We can learn boundaries from characters, how to speak our minds without fear of losing people. They also don't hold on to things. They move on after they express them. Now, this definitely has to do with True Blood, because sometimes you do see people in movies hold grudges, or you do see people go kind of lose themselves in a situation. But characters are perfect versions of themselves. And we are characters in our own way, but not as true as a character in a movie or in a TV show, because their character is written in a way that their personality comes out the truest to themselves as possible. Even in books, like different characters in different books, they're so extreme versions of themselves, and you can kind of predict how they're going to act and react to things because they're so predictable. Even unpredictable characters in books and in film and TV are predictable because they're so perfect. When I say that they don't have shame or they don't have guilt, it's like sometimes they do have guilt, but they express it in words. Sometimes we're not allowed to express things in words. And what we know about guilt and shame is, I think Brené Brown has done studies on this. What we know about guilt and shame is when it's said, when it's released from the mouth, when it's talked about, the shame and the guilt is released from being internalized. And that's a really healthy way to deal with shame and guilt. But we're taught to internalize it, and that's when it becomes harmful and destructive. But obviously characters in movies and film and books, they suffer from guilt and shame, but either the narrator tells us or the character expresses it to somebody else, or we can just see it, but we don't feel the turmoil. Characters say things. They speak their minds. If they didn't, we wouldn't know who they were. And also we would have nothing to watch. It would be a silent film, and we We don't really like watching those these days, unless you're very artistic and French maybe. But a lot of times we're not taught how to speak. We're not taught how to identify what we feel and then release those emotions through speaking them or speaking about them. Usually we're taught coping mechanisms because that's what our parents were taught. And I don't know, I guess just being able to have these honest conversations, we can learn a lot from characters because it shows us a way to be that isn't the way that we are. And we watch film and we get lost in it because it takes us outside of our own selves. It's entertainment, right? But I can never get outside of myself. I internalize everything. I analyze everything. I use life as school, even TV. I take notes. I'm not kidding. Like, I'm going to come out with what I learned from vampires because they're like thousands of years old. You know what I mean? I learn from everything. I analyze everything. I don't get lost in the film. I do a little bit, but I also like analyze it and I get lost in my head right back at it. So I don't know. I just watch it. I love watching characters because they show me different ways of being. They show me how to be different. And sometimes a new perspective is all we need. Right? Okay. This is for everybody who knows me. You know that I love rap. I love rap so much. I love rappers. I love R&B. I love hip hop. I love lyrics. I love words. I'm a writer. Part of me doing podcasts and videos is learning how to speak. A lot of the words that come out of my mouth are jumbled. They're unorganized. But if you were to see me write, you would not be able to recognize the person other than when I add my personality to my writing, and then you'll be like, oh yeah, that's Tilo. Here's a rap lyric that really spoke to me this week. It comes from Exhibit song, X Gon Give It to You. Yeah, this is from like early 2000s. Also, I'm not going to say the N word because I can't. So I'm just going to say N word. Here we go. Ayo, where my ends at? I know I got them down in the game. Give them love and they give it back. Talk too much for too long. Don't give up. You're too strong. What? A dog to bow, hug it. Shout out to ends that done it. And it ain't even about the dough. It's about getting down for what you stand for, yo. I put in work and it's all for the kids, but these cats don't forget what work is. Fuck what you heard. It's what you're hearing. Actually, those are my lyrics. That will be number 4, maybe. So this is number 3, Exhibit song. X Gon Give It to You. I kept hearing these lyrics go through my head, particularly. Okay, I'm gonna start with Ayo, where my ends at? I know I got him down in the game. I don't know what the game means to him, but the game to me means like this game of life. Life is somewhat of a game. There are hacks just like there were in Mario, and you can get to like different levels quicker sometimes. Sometimes you need to go through and, beat the boss and die like a few times before you get to that next level. And sometimes it's easy with a hack, right? Give them love and they give it back. Talk too much for too long. Don't give up. You're too strong. Obviously, that's like the game could be hard, but we're all here for a reason. And everybody, whether you want to believe it or not, everybody who's here is this world is not easy to live in. It's not easy to live in even if you grow up in an easy way and have like an easier life than other people. We all go through the same struggles. No joke, we're all dealing with the same crap every day until you're not. And then you have different stuff to deal with. Life is good. It's really good. It's really beautiful, but it could also be really dark and really lonely and really sad, especially if you've had like a really tough life, or if you've had like a really, I don't know, there's things that support a good life and then there's things that don't, but in a way it kind of all works together, because even the things that bring us pain and suffering help us grow. Oh, gross. That's a fly. I don't know where it came from. Shout out to my ends that done it. It's like, shout out to the people who've made it. And by made it, I mean made it out of the muck, made it out of the hardships, and who've made it out of like hard times and struggles. Like, shout out to all you, because we all are on, those are the people who are like climbing with you, let's say, climbing that mountain, and you kind of like made it. And there's just that one mountain. There's going to be more, but like for that one mountain at the top, you guys have all climbed mountains, right? I love climbing mountains. I'm a masochist. I love climbing mountains. You get to the top and you're like instantly friends with every single person who's up there. And you look at each other and you're like, yeah, we made it. Like, shout out. That's like Exhibit shouting out to all of his homies that may not even be homies, but they're the other people that are on the top of that one mountain. Then you got to go down and then you climb another one, okay? And you're going to meet new people that are on the top of that mountain. It ain't even about the dough. It's about getting down for what you stand for, yo. This is probably one of my favorite lines, because I was literally just listening to $1 Million Case Study, but this is what I've talked about on my first, we're bringing it back. My first Friday daily downloads, I was talking about when, I think I also mentioned it another time, but at some point in your life, when you have all the money that you ever dreamed of or know what to do with, or you have like all of your needs met, you don't live in fear anymore, you have good health, you appreciate your body, you have great friends and relationships. At some point, you know, like you ask yourself, okay, now that I'm in this spot at the top of the mountain, what do I want to do next? You're sitting at the top of the mountain and you're like, all right, does that mountain over there look cool? Or does that shaded spot over there look cool? Do I want to climb that tree, or do I want to hang out by the river? You kind of like, at the point where you are at the top of the mountain, it's no longer about climbing the mountain. It's about choosing what your next adventure is. And that's why I love this line. It ain't even about the dough. It's about getting down for what you stand for, yo. Because it's not about the money. Once you realize that, everybody puts so much emphasis on money. Everybody wants to know how to make money. Everybody wants to know how to make money faster. Everybody wants to know how they can have more freedom and more money, and they dream about buying cars and the houses and not working ever again. And you realize it's not about the money. It's about choosing your own adventure and standing up for who you are and what you believe in. And hopefully that standing up for who you are will encourage other people to stand up for who they are. And sometimes people need a leader, and sometimes they want to like learn from you, and then other times they just are encouraged to be themselves because you're being yourself. So yeah, way to go, Exhibit. I'm gonna move on. Number 5, fuck what you heard, it's what you hearin'. This to me these are my, whenever I listen to rap and analyze rap lyrics, I start writing rap songs. The thing is like I don't have a style or a cadence or like a sound yet. I don't know what I would sound like as a rapper. I just know what other rappers sound like that I like. But sometimes, and actually most of the time, whatever information from the past you're using to make decisions for your future don't really matter. And a lot of people hold you to what you said in the past, but you are a changing person, and it's like who cares what I said like 10 years ago? That doesn't apply anymore. This is what I'm telling you now. Like sometimes people don't want to believe where you are right now. And so I would say for yourself, it's good to change and change your mindset, change your beliefs, change your perspective, And hopefully through life, things bring about those changes. I know I've personally, I seek change. I want to listen to other people's perspectives. I like growing and trying new things and doing things that are difficult. So I do change a lot. And I guess, all we have is the now. And our history has kind of shaped us to who we are, but we can choose, again, go back to the mountain. It doesn't have to be who we are, who we continue to be. So, all right. And that concludes our fourth episode of Daily Download Fridays. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening. Stay tuned for more content. Please don't forget to leave a review. Those really help us out, and they help other people find us. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. I love answering questions and creating more content that the fans want to hear. We are on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram at Posh Incredible. We have a lot of different show segments. I call it TIFF TV, and stay tuned for more from Posh Incredible. Thanks, guys, and as always, have a wonderful weekend.